Hi guys, welcome back. Today I'm making body butter for me and my family. I asked you guys on Instagram if you'd like to see it and you said yes, so here it is. This is going to be a big batch split into 3 for me, myself and my baby. For me, my husband and my baby, because we all have different needs. And so I just wanted to show you guys how I am batch making. So first of all, I plan out what I want to do. I write down my oils and then try to figure out what percentage of what I want for each person. And you can see here I have for baby, mommy and daddy, and I will link down everything in the description box so you can see how I split it up and you can create your own. So now I am just going to be adding some shea butter. Shea butter is great for the skin. It is like a liquid gold in West Africa, and you guys already know where I come from. So yeah, so I love shea butter, and I just love my body butters. So I'm going to be using shea butter, some cocoa butter, which you're going to see me add in a bit. I think here they are, because the cocoa butter is a lot harder than shea butter. So you can see them here. It's like flakes, much harder, and just a different consistency. And then some coconut oil, and then I'm going to melt it down completely. And the reason I melt it down is because they have different fatty acids in them that solidify at different temperatures, and if you leave them to solidify at room temperature, it's going to be grainy. And the reason you also have to melt it down is because you also don't want that graininess, because they have been extracted and let to cool at regular temperature, and so these fatty acids already have that graininess. So you have to melt it down if you want a really smooth body butter. Then I'll go ahead and put it in the fridge and let it cool down. I think I left this one for about 40 minutes. I really wanted it to solidify. And you can see here, because of the different types of oils, the cocoa butter kind of made it a little harder to scrape from the sides. So like it's much harder. And then the shea butter and coconut oil are more, should I say, more fluid in there. Maybe just the shea butter, I don't know, but you can just see how hard it was. I had to use the spatula there, what's it called, anyways, yeah. So I had to scrape that down. And now I'm going to measure in the liquid oils, and I'm using olive oil. And you notice here that I'm doing everything in one big bowl first, and this is all the oils that we're all going to have in all our body butters, and that's olive oil, vitamin E oil, shea butter, coconut oil and cocoa butter. Then I will split it up. Well, I'm going ahead of myself. So now I'm just going to mix that in, the vitamin E and olive oil, to mix it in, and it's going to be a more creamy paste. So it's not going to be as solid as it should be. Because it's kind of cool, you'll find that it actually went rather thick quickly, but as I add liquid oils, it softens up. So usually the rule of thumb when making body butters is the more creamy you want your body butter to be, the more liquid oils you have. The thicker you want your body butter to be, the less liquid oils you have. Now for my baby, I kind of wanted his own body butter to be just a little bit thicker and a little bit, should I say, creamier but thicker in consistency. And so for my baby, I added some castor oil, but again, I'm going ahead of myself. So now I have just mixed in the olive oil, and you can see how it is here. It's almost like, in Africa, in Nigeria, we call this fufu. If you don't know what fufu is, please just Google it. It looks like fufu. But anyway, so here I am splitting up my fufu into 2 other bowls for me and my husband. And then I'm just going to start with my baby's one. And the reason I'm starting with my baby's one is because I am not putting in any fragrance in my baby's body butter. Remember, I said we all have different needs. And I'm going to be using the same mixer for all 3 of us. So it was only practical to start with the one that doesn't have any fragrance in it. So I'm going to be starting with my baby's one. So I'm just splitting it up here. I bet you guys can hear him singing. Now, it's baby time. So I'm not putting any fragrance oil in this one. I'm just going to add some, let's see what oil comes next. I think it's sweet almond oil. Okay, so here's the castor oil. I just put a little bit. Bear in mind that I wasn't winging this. I was measuring everything. I knew the percentage of what I wanted. So I will put a little note down in the description box to just help you guys formulate your own body butter recipe, because body butter can be made with virtually any type of oil mixed with butters. So it could be shea butter, cocoa butter, mango butter, cocoa butter, whatever butter you want to use. But the rule of thumb is to just understand the consistency of your oils and just know how many percent of what you're using. So I added in some sweet almond oil and castor oil to my baby's butter, and I am now going to be mixing it in. While I mix, I make sure to stop intermittently to scrape down the sides. It's very important to do this because sometimes if you don't scrape the sides down, you will just end up missing some of it and it will just not incorporate properly. So you should always just stop every now and again to scrape the sides so you can get a nice and smooth body butter. So what you want to watch for is that your body butter gets fluffy, nice and fluffy, and it will look much whiter in color from when you started, and it will just, you know, almost double in size a little bit. At this point, I've stopped to do a consistency test and to show you guys just how nice and soft and smooth it is. I then put it on my skin just to show you guys how it sips into my skin. You can see how much it just glides in so nicely. I just absolutely love it. One thing you should know about body butters is that the liquid oils, especially with the liquid, actually with all your oils, even the hard oils as well, you should just really know the consistency. So I've used cocoa butter in my oil, and I used cocoa butter in my body butter, and I've used it at only 5%, but it did make a significant difference in how thick my body butter turned out. And you know, that was just good to know, because if I had gone any higher, I would have needed a lot more liquid oils to make it more fluid than I wanted in my recipe. So here you can see I'm just adding it to the container, and you know, I just love it. I actually think I loved my baby's body butter the most. It was just so nice and so creamy. And you know, the castor oil, if you know castor oil, it's thick. It's a really thick oil, so even when you add it, it doesn't really it just makes it feel more gummy, which is kind of nice. And when I say gummy, I don't mean it's sticky, but it just doesn't separate as much. So, you know, like when you dig your finger into your body butter, it won't separate as much as when you don't have castor oil and, you know, it's just fluffy. And that's how mine was. Denver is here with me. Denver is my baby, in case you don't know. So that's how mine was. Mine was more fluffy. His was more, you know, creamy. And so I think the next one is mine. And now I'm just going to be measuring out my oils as well. For me, I added some sweet almond oil and some fragrance oil. I did not add castor oil. And the reason I did mine before my husband's is because, well, I'm cooler. No, I'm just playing. It's because I just didn't want any mint in mine. My husband wanted mint, and so I just thought to do mine first because he doesn't care too much about fragrances anyway. So I just didn't want to have any mint, so I thought to just do mine first. And my fragrance is more feminine than his. So here I've added my oils, nothing extra, nothing, you know, major just the almond oil and the fragrance oil, and by the time I was done, it came out a lot more fluffy. Again, I'm showing you guys a consistency test so you guys can see how this one also just glides in. They're all really nice and smooth, really. It's just beautiful. The thing with body butters as well is you'd think it's greasy when you're applying it, but it just sips into your skin, and within about 5-20 minutes, 20 minutes is even too much, 5-10 minutes, and your skin just feels normal again. And obviously it's just gotten that nourishment, so it really doesn't make your skin greasy. It's just very nice. It's a nice moisturizer for your skin. Next is my husband's body butter, and that's the final one. And here it's virtually the same thing as mine, sweet almond oil. The only difference is the fragrance oil that I've used. And so here I'm adding some eucalyptus essential oil, and I think I added about 10 drops to his, 5 to 10 drops, not a lot. And then some fragrance oil, and I used some eucalyptus mint as well because that's what he wanted. Now, another thing I found with my body butters was that the cocoa butter, the smell of the cocoa butter was pretty strong. That's not a problem at all, not a problem. I actually really love the smell of cocoa butter. You will just end up smelling like a yummy chocolate everywhere you go. It's so nice. So yeah, boo boo, can you let me talk? I'm working. Okay, excuse us guys. So now this is the final lap of the journey. We are doing a consistency test again. Look at that, just look at that. Oh, my body butters, I swear sometimes I just want to even eat them, but you know, I just can't. Not like they're not edible, they're actually edible, besides the fragrance oils, of course, but you know, please just don't eat. So here you see it just goes in nicely and makes my skin nice and supple, and I am just going to put it in the container, and that is the end of today's episode. So here, if you want to learn how to make a batch for your entire family, this is just what I've shown you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps, and it would help me grow. And share this with your friends, family, or anybody that you think might benefit from this. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.